Energy is a key component for economic growth as well as for human development. India is the third ranking electricity generator in the world but ranks 106th in terms of per capita consumption. The distribution of power is the most important link in the value chain of the power sector since it is the cash register for the entire sector. Yet, the distribution sector of India is in need of transformation to function at its optimum potential because power distribution companies in India are experiencing financial stress due to various reasons such as high cost of power procurement, revenue inefficiency, etc. Welcome to India Energy Bulletin, a show where we bring you the latest news, policy developments and technological advancements that are driving India's sustainable growth agenda. Today, we are here to highlight and discuss the developments in India's power distribution and transmission sector and understand how a shift to smart, reliable and sustainable infrastructure will help decentralize the power sector, help reduce the cost of energy production and smoothen the distribution process while empowering consumers to choose a power supplier of their choice. The proposed Electricity Amendment Bill 2022 is a step towards bringing significant changes in the area of power distribution. The bill also seeks to promote green energy by making sure that DISCOMs purchase a government-mandated portion of power from renewable sources. The Electricity Amendment Bill aims to open the door to private investment, which will allow multiple distribution licensees to function in the area. The Government of India has also approved the Revamped Distribution Sector Scheme (RDSS) to help DISCOMs improve their operational efficiency and financial sustainability. The scheme has been developed to address state-specific needs and prioritizing the transition to prepaid smart metering. The scheme also aims to provide financial assistance to DISCOMs for infrastructure creation and undertaking reforms to achieve the desired results towards improvement in operational efficiency and financial sustainability. The recently concluded 6th edition of Distribution Utility Meet in Bhubaneswar, Odisha brought together experts, industry leaders and the DISCOM community to discuss and take action towards automation, grid modernization and digitization on a fast track as India leapfrogs towards a net zero power sector. Odisha's electricity distribution is going through a commendable transformation after Tata Power took over for distribution business in the state as well. Odisha government's renewable energy policy aims to promote renewable energy consumption and accelerate its adoption in the state. At the Make in Odisha conclave, Tata Power, which manages the power distribution in Odisha in partnership with the state government, announced its vision to transform the state into a clean energy hub through its clean and green energy solutions and offerings. Tata Power is committed to transform Odisha into a clean energy hub. This is to promote clean mobility. The company plans to install 1,000 charging points across the state in the next 5 years. They are working towards the solarization of the agriculture sector in association with the state government and has already installed over 700 solar pumps and plans to install an additional 1 lakh solar pumps over the next 5 years. Tata Power is committed to enabling Odisha to become forerunners in harnessing solar power. In the rooftop solar space, the company has over 25 megawatt of installations across the state, which is equivalent to reducing 7.07 lakh tons of CO2 emissions and planting 11.31 lakh trees. Tata Power is setting up microgrids to electrify remote villages in the state with the support of the Energy Department and OERC. In order to ensure sustainable energy consumption, Tata Power DISCOMs are also offering smart IoT-based solutions for its residential, commercial and industrial customers. Tata Power DISCOMs are also providing an option for 100% renewable energy adoption to the industrial segment and is creating job opportunities for local youth in the operations, maintenance and metering work of the DISCOMs. While India is embracing renewable energy at a rapid pace with a key focus on strengthening the distribution and transmission infrastructure, we are now being joined by Anish De, Global Head Energy, Natural Resources and Chemicals at KPMG, and PK Pujari, former Chairman, Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, to understand the future roadmap and discuss how DISCOMs and power transmission companies can gear up to be future ready. Gentlemen, welcome to the show and thanks a lot for joining us. Well, the first question to you, Mr. Pujari, is really about your insights into how India as a nation is gearing towards a transition to clean energy. What are your takes here?
India has moved from a position of perennial shortage of power to a position of sufficient availability, though there are still issues of affordability and quality of supply. Thus, having addressed the supply issue to a large extent, India is now targeting for a clean future. As per the updated NDC, India now stands committed to reduce the emission intensity of its GDP by 45% percent by 2030 from 2005 level. So energy sector, which constitutes electricity sector and transport sector, is the single largest contributor of emissions in India. Electricity sector, which contributes about 37% of the emissions, has to play a key role if India has to achieve its target of reduced emissions intensity. To achieve this target, India has to add is to have at least 50% of the cumulative electric power generation installed capacity from non-fossil fuel based energy resources by 2030.
We have been talking about India significantly progressing in terms of energy security and provision of reliable energy access since early reforms. But what do you think are the residual challenges that remain in the development of future-ready and smart infrastructure? And we're also talking about 24/7 clean and affordable energy for all.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. So, while we have made very, very substantial progress on energy security, energy access, and even in terms of affordability, I think it's at least it's not gone worse. I think there's a fair amount of distance to cover for the future scenarios. And the reason I say that is multifold. First is that on the energy security standpoint, we are heavily dependent on imported fuels, and particularly on the hydrocarbons, where more than 85% of our oil is imported, and more than 50% of our natural gas is imported. We import some amount of coal as well, and especially in times of stress, that import goes up. So that import dependence is quite huge, and the price fluctuation which we see can actually affect energy security quite a bit. So I think there is some distance to cover. The way out of that is through indigenous resources, which means it would have meant coal, but coal has its own challenges, and this time unabated coal has its own challenges. So we have to largely be dependent on renewables as we go forward. Now that's easier said than done, because in the next 25 years, we have to go 10x in terms of renewables as compared to what our current capacity is. And that will bring its own development challenges, implementation challenges, grid management challenges, and so on. And there'll be a cost aspect also involved in that. But that's the trajectory we have to take. It's a difficult trajectory, but I think it's still within the possibilities. And it is also very aligned to our interests on energy security.
So, Mr. Pujari, for India to build a stronger economy, it is of course critical to build a reliable and sustainable power distribution and production system as well. In that case, how can the PPP model prove to be a panacea for power distribution woes in that case?
Yes, so now if you look at the value chain of electricity, that is the generation, transmission, and distribution. Distribution segment is the key segment, because that is where the interface with the consumers take place, and that is where the revenue is generated, which is paid to the transmission utilities and the generating utilities, and the generating utilities pays to their raw material supplier like coal, gas, or railways. Competitive markets are generally considered good for consumers. Opening up a market and reducing entry barriers are the key elements for developing competitive market. The core is efficiency and consumer's choice. This principle, these are general economic principles. Now, this principle has also been suggested for the electricity sector in India in terms of ushering in retail competition in the supply of electricity at the distribution level. In Orissa now, it is more into a PPP model, in the sense that it is almost like a joint venture. If you look at their structure, 41%, 49% with the government, 51% with the private player, with management board predominantly done by government officers, but with professional support, and then operation with private hand. Maybe that sort of structure can work if there is a aversion for going for outright privatization.
So, give us more insights into the measures that are taken by the government to do the expansion of transmission grids, some more incentives that they are giving.
The Indian transmission grid is one of the largest integrated grids in the world, and that's really, really good. And that gives us the ability to integrate a lot of renewable energy, a lot of various sources of energy. It brings in efficiency. It gets the advantages of the time differences natural time zone differences which we have in the various parts of the country because of the size of the country. And I think it also helps us tap into resources, say from northeast hydro to solar in Rajasthan and Gujarat, to wind in various parts of the country, including Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu. So all of that brings the strength of diversity together, but that happens only when you have a strong transmission network. Fortunately for us, the government has been very alive to it. So we had the Green Corridors program and other schemes under which a lot of transmission has been built. In fact, in some cases, so I think overall the transmission is a very, very positive story, a very proactive story played by the government of India in getting new investments into transmission, both from the public sector and to some extent from the private sector as well.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here on the show today and discussing everything that is related to the power sector as well. And on that note, it's time to go into a break. When we return, we discuss how the private sector is playing a vital role in revolutionizing the power sector. Welcome back. You're still tuned into India Energy Bulletin. Tata Power, India's largest integrated power company, is transforming the lives of 12 million consumers across the country through reliable and customer-friendly services in the energy domain. Tata Power has set up a host of customer care centers across the country, including all-women customer care centers in Mumbai, Delhi, Ajmer and Odisha to ensure reliable and quality power supply 24/7. Smart meters are a step towards consumer empowerment through its provision for energy monitoring and controlling. Energy-conscious consumption will create more awareness in consumers. In its commitment to ensure a sustainable future, Tata Power Discoms have also rolled out the smart meter drive across Delhi, Odisha and Mumbai, where more than 5 lakh smart meters have been installed till date. Tata Power Delhi Distribution Limited, a 2-decade-long joint venture between Tata Power and the government of NCT of Delhi serving over 7 million consumers, is a great success story. The Tata Power Smart Grid Lab provides a test bed to showcase all of the information technologies and operational technologies implemented since 2002 in the distribution area of Tata Power Delhi Distribution Limited. The focus of these technologies is to provide improved connectivity, efficiency, and effectively allowing reliability of a higher magnitude power that is both sustainable and scalable for consumers. Till date, the company is instrumental in reduction of aggregate technical and commercial losses, that is AT&C, from 53% to 7% in Delhi. Power systems control centers are the nerve centers for modern power distribution. The entire transmission system is centrally controlled from Power System Control Center, that is PSCC, through the state-of-the-art unified SCADA system as well. Transmission operations of Tata Power in Mumbai, with more than 1,125 circuit kilometers of transmission network, is helping meet the ever-growing power needs in Mumbai. The company has been able to lower AT&C loss levels and is currently below 1% in Mumbai. Tata Power Transmission Service operates with grid availability of 99.96% and expertises in constructing transmission lines in densely populated city as well as in creek areas, mangroves and forests as well. Tata Power's public-private partnerships in Delhi and Odisha have proven to be a success, with efficient functioning and transparency strengthening the power distribution system. Powerlinks Transmission is a joint venture between the Tata Power Company and Power Grid Corporation of India, which helps evacuation of power from Tala Hydro Plant in Bhutan to Delhi. NRSS Transmission, which is co-sponsored by Tata Power, among other global investors. This was an acquisition of stressed assets in the Indian power sector of system strengthening scheme, which includes 3 elements consisting of a total length of 153 kilometers transmission line spread across the states of Uttarakhand, Rajasthan and Haryana. Tata Power's transmission businesses have undertaken key projects to build a resilient inter-country and intra-country transmission network. As a part of this, the company has taken up upgradation of transmission infrastructure in the state of Goa for Goa Electricity Department. Construction of multi-circuit 220 kV Trombay Dharavi Salset transmission line in the city of Mumbai has also been done. Joining us now is the man leading the transmission and distribution business at Tata Power, Mr. Sanjay Banga, who is the President, T&D. Mr. Banga, welcome to the show and joining us today as well. Well, power utilities have to transform themselves into energy solution providers offering ease to consumers. Could you please elaborate on the efforts of Tata Power Discoms on this front?
So energy as a service is coming out as a very new concept. So there is a scope which exists in market for providing energy as a service, and Tata Power taking it strategically in a very aggressive way. We have come out with home automation solutions, again focusing on energy reduction part, ESCO services where we can be a energy service company in terms of reducing their consumption. So the consumer benefits at the end.
Well, Tata Power Discoms have also rolled out the smart meter drive across Discoms in Delhi, Odisha and Mumbai. How are smart meters a step towards consumer empowerment? How many smart meters have been installed till date? And how are they a win-win for both Discoms and consumers?
Tata Power in all its distribution companies, Mumbai, Delhi, and 4 distribution companies which we have in Odisha, have started implementing smart metering. And so far we have installed around 5 lakh smart meters. We are covering all our commercial consumer, industrial consumer, high consumption residential consumers. We want to cover all consumers who are consuming about 200 units per month. We find there are many benefits of smart metering. First, it provides you real-time data. So you can improve your billing efficiency, you can improve your collection efficiency because in a real-time basis you can connect and disconnect a consumer if he is not paying or if he is not a disciplined consumer. But more than that, it gives you benefit in terms of optimizing your capex because now you know where the demand is. Can you plan your network in a better way and you can optimize your capex. Similarly, since a consumer has a smart meter, so he need not to call a call center and say that he is facing an outage because smart meter is communicating on real-time basis. So distribution utility comes to know about any outage and attends that outage. So it improves reliability, it improves commercial efficiency, customer is benefited and so is Discoms.
So according to you, how are Tata Power Discoms gearing up to provide clean and green energy solutions to consumers? Because you have announced that you're offering 100% green energy to the consumers in Mumbai. What sort of response and impact have you seen so far?
So Tata Power was first in Mumbai who advocated for green energy option to a consumer. That if a consumer wants green energy, 100% green energy, can a Discom provide him that 100% green energy? And after the Maharashtra Electricity Regulatory Commission gave that option that consumer can go for green energy, 100% green energy, we have now around 20,000 customers to whom we give green energy certificate every month. They are consuming green energy only and they pay a very nominal 66 paisa per unit as extra pay for becoming a green consumer. Response so far has been very, very encouraging and we expect more of our customers to opt for this green energy options because it's more sustainable. Our Delhi distribution company is completely complying to renewable obligations which is set up by regulators. We have got mandate from MERC for getting another 225 megawatt of renewable power. And with that, our portfolio will go up to around 40% on green energy. And that's how we want to contribute in this sustainability drive.
Well, private participation is the only viable option to improve the utilities' operational and financial efficiencies, right? And to obtain full cost recovery as well. Can you expand on how your public-private partnerships in Delhi and Odisha are supporting the ongoing transformation in the power sector and also supporting the government to carry out other welfare activities by saving on the AT&C losses that we've just mentioned?
So if we see distribution sector, this is perhaps the only sector where we don't see competition. And if you see all other sectors where the competition is there, it's a customer who get full benefit of that competition. The new electricity amendment bill which is coming is also addressing this issue where you will have more retailer and a consumer will have a choice for a selection of a retailer who will provide them electricity. And this competition is a way of bringing private sector and improving distribution system efficiencies. Our PPP model, which is a public-private partnership model, is also another way of taking private sector help for improving efficiencies. So in Delhi, where we have a PPP model, we have reduced losses from 53% to 7%. And because of this reduction in losses, the tariff has not gone up. And that is how we took this model went to Odisha, where the Odisha was again went for PPP model. Last 2 years, when we see our Odisha operation, which is another PPP model, in last 2 years, the first year was COVID period when we entered into PPP model, and with the support of Odisha government, a good support from regulatory mechanism, this year we are expecting our loss level will be around 10% less than what it was last year. So in that way, this PPP model is benefiting in reducing losses, and which is where the consumer get advantage of this. It is also helping us in keeping tariff low because entire efficiency passed on to customers. If we see from the government point of view, then the government need not to now bother for investment in distribution sector because the new PPP company which is there is investing money. So the government is saving money there. Customer is getting benefit in terms of better reliability. Odisha model is also very important because after the Delhi success of PPP model, the perception was that this PPP model is only for urban area. In last 2 years, if we see Odisha, this PPP model we can say is now applicable for entire India as such.
All right, Mr. Banga, thank you so much for joining us with those valuable insights. And with that, we have come to the end of the show. We'll be back next month on India Energy Bulletin. Stay tuned for more news and updates on CNBC-TV18.